ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। So namaste once again everyone.
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
Namaste.
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
Namaste. So we are seeing the 8th mantra and we are discussing the bhashyam of this mantra, and we have already covered the first line of the mantra from tapasa chiyate brahma tatah annam abhijayate. And now let us chant this mantra before I proceed. Tapasa chiyate brahma
तपसाचीयते ब्रह्म
ततोन्नम अभिजायते
ततोऽन्नम्
अभिजायते
अन्नात् प्राणो मनः
अन्नात् प्राणो मनः
सत्यं लोकाः
सत्यं लोकाः
कर्मसु चामृतम्
कर्मसु
So as I was saying, from tapasa chiyate brahma up to annat prano manas satyam. Up to this we have seen, I think, yeah. First line and also part of the second line. And towards the end of the last class, we were discussing the bhashyam relating to the last quarter of this mantra, Lokaha karmasu chamritam. And Bhashyakara explained as Tasmat Satyakya Bhuta Panchakat Andakramena Sapta Lokaha Bhuradaya Abhijayate. Abhijayate we have supplied to make the sentence complete. So, from the 6th stage of manifestation, which is called Satyam, which refers to the group of 5 gross elements, Andakramena Sapta Lokaha Bhuradaya Abhijayate. And as I was saying here, Bhashyakara mentions only Sapta Loka, 7 worlds, which he describes as Bhuradaya. Bhuhu Adaya means what? Bhuhu, etc. That is Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, and Satyam. So these are the 7 upper lokas. But since the Panchabhutani, the 5 gross elements, are the source material for creation of the entire cosmos, we can include the 7 lower lokas also in this description. Therefore, in all, 14 lokas are born from the 6th stage, which is Stula Prapancha B stage. And as I said, in between, Bhashyakara puts one word, Andakramena. So, Andakramena means through the order of Anda, the cosmic egg. In the Puranas, this description is given. That from Hiranyagarbha, one Anda, one egg is born. It's a funny thing, you know. The meaning of Hiranyagarbha, you know, Hiranya means golden. Garbha means womb. So Hiranyagarbha means the golden womb. From that golden womb, one cosmic egg is born. What is that cosmic egg? The cosmic egg is nothing but Samashti Loka. The total, all words put together is called Brahmanda. So from that cosmic egg, 14 lokas will come. So in between, this krama, sequential order is there. The Upanishad doesn't talk about the sequential order. And Bhashyakara covers it simply by saying Andakramena. But then we have to know what is the sequence. First stage is from Hiranyagarbha, cosmic egg is born, which is nothing but, as I said, samashti of all lokas. This is the intermediary stage of the evolution of Brahmanda, the cosmic egg. And in the second stage, that cosmic egg evolves into 14 lokas. And therefore, Andakramena means Brahmandakramena. And this is the brilliance of Bhashyakar. In fact, even without this word, Andakramena, the sentence would have been complete and the meaning in the Upanishad would have been conveyed. But
14 lokas.
Is there somebody who is not muted? Let me check. Yes, there is somebody who is not muted. Now it's okay. So Bhashyakara wants to create a curiosity in us so that when we come across this word, Andakramena, we will naturally try to find out the meaning. And therefore, that will lead to the study of other Shastric texts like Puranas, etc. As we know, Bhashyakara's knowledge of the Shastras is so wide that he connects these mantras rather, with what is said in the Puranas, where the Andakramena is a Purana business. It doesn't appear in either Bhagavad Gita or in the Upanishads. That is why Bhashyakara is worshipped as what? Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Master of all scriptures. So that is the sequence. Now the next sentence. Teshu Manushyadi prani varnashrama kramena karmani. Teshu means in those worlds, in those 14 worlds. Manushyadi prani varnashrama kramena karmani. Karmani means actions. Here also we have to supply abhijayate. Now, abhijayate is the common verb for anything which is born. Abhijayate we have to add. So in these worlds, karmani, the actions are born. How actions are born? Because from the world, actions cannot come directly. The 7 lokas up and 7 lokas down cannot create the action on their own. And therefore, Bhashyakara says, Manushyadi prani varnashrama kramena. Kramena, again. There he said anda kramena, here he says varnashrama kramena. In fact, Manushyadi prani varnashrama kramena. Through the order of Manushyadi prani, living beings such as human beings and others. And varnashrama, the social classification of varna and ashrama stages of life, which are also the prime movers for actions throughout one's life. Therefore, teshu, in those worlds, actions are born through the order of living beings, such as human beings and others. Others, we can include everything, even a mosquito bite is an action. All animals are always, they are engaged in action. You will say, what about plants? Plants are also growing. They are also engaged in action. Absorbing the water, moisture from the ground, action. Growing, action. Giving, fruits or flowers, etc. Action. And also actions emanate from social classification of the stages of life. We know all those, varna and ashrama, 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Shastras define different duties for these 4 varnas. Then within the 4 varnas, 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Again, for each of those ashramas, different duties are defined in the Shastras. And discharge of any duty involves actions only. So, first these 14 worlds are created. And in them, whichever loka, this Manushya or equivalent to Manushya, whoever has got free will, those living beings are born. And those living beings will have Varna Vyavastha, social classification, and also Ashrama Vyavastha will be there. As we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole society is classified into 4 based on guna and karma. Mind you, guna and classification is based on guna and karma. We will not say janma, because in the first step, janma classification will not be there. Even Krishna says, Chatur varnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagayoho. And therefore, today, when people are only attributing this social classification, varna classification, to only janma, it is an incorrect way of looking at the Shastra. Only classification and based on guna and karma is there. And then the varna and ashrama setup will give rise to karmas. Every varna has got a particular karma, every ashrama has got a particular karma. Some karmas will be samanyam, common. Some karmas will be vishesha karma, specific to a varna and or to an ashrama. Ashrama which an individual belongs to. So based on varna vyavastha and ashrama vyavastha, karmani abhijayate, actions are born. And here we can observe the difference between Vedic cosmology and modern cosmology. In modern cosmology, they say first an unicellular organism is evolved, and then came the multicellular, and then slowly that fish, etc. came. Then finally this monkey, and from that monkey human beings evolved. That human being became erect and started walking. In our Shastras, we don't say all that. First of all, we say nobody knows when the creation started, because creation is a cyclical and not linear like what modern cosmology assumes. Then we say in the beginning of the creation, all creatures are there. Human beings are also there, one of them. Therefore, we don't subscribe to this Darwin theory that the creation slowly evolved. And therefore, we don't say our ancestors were monkeys. In fact, we proudly say our ancestors were rishis. We say from Brahmaji, the Sapta Rishis were born. And all the human beings are the progeny of the Sapta Rishis. And that is the basis how we have got the Gotra system. Of course, as I said when we discussed the first sloka, there are different versions of this evolution even in the Shastras. But they may differ in some minor details, but none of them validate the Western cosmology theory. So all these things, the entire process of creation, Bhashyakara condenses into these three sentences or two words. Manushyadi prani abhijayate. Then what happens? This Manushyadi prani performs actions. Karmas are there which are generating punya and papa in the form of karma phalam. Basically, it is Manushya karmas which give karma phalam. Wherever an entity has got willpower and has got an ability to choose between the right and wrong, between dharma and adharma, in such cases, this punya and papa will arise based upon the choices made. And therefore, using our free will, we engage ourselves in action. Those actions give rise to punya and papa. So whether we want to earn punya or we want to earn papa is a choice left to us. So we cannot blame anybody for our punya papa. We ourselves individually are responsible for our punya papa. And that is said in the next line. Karma sucha nimitta bhuteshu amritam karmajam phalam. Karma sucha is there in the moolam. Karma sucha, and on account of those karmas being there, What type of karma? They are nimitta bhuteshu. Nimitta means causes, which are in the form of the causes. Bhuteshu means in the form of. So actions which are in the form of causes are being there. What happens? Amritam. Amritam, Bhashyakara says, is equal to karmajam phalam. Phalam means the result. Karmajam means born of action. So karma being there, the result born of action is abhijayate. And here, karma phala is called amritam, immortal. But generally we say karma phala is perishable. We exhaust the punya papa by experiencing their effects. So how come the Shruti is saying that karma phalam is amritam? Moreover, we also know one more law of nature. What is born will be gone. Therefore, why is it called amritam? That is why, we require someone like Bhashyakara to explain all these things. Otherwise, reading the Upanishad will be totally lost. Especially when we do not know the Sanskrit language. And therefore, not only Bhashyakara should be there, somebody who knows Sanskrit and also English very well, like Puja Swamiji, Swami Chinmayanandaji, etc., they are also required to explain all these things to us. And that is what makes all these classes interesting rather. So we are not very much concerned that, oh, I don't know Sanskrit. If I know Sanskrit, know it well, there is always an extra enjoyment in reading the Bhashyam. If you know it very well, read the Bhashyam, read the Tika, Tippani, etc., which are the sub-commentaries and all, and you get more and more insight into what the Vedas want to say, what the Upanishad want to say. So why it is called Amritam, Bhashyakara explains in the next sentence. He says, Yavat karmani kalpakoti shatairapi na vinashyanti tavat phalam na vinashyati ityamurtam iti amritam. So Bhashyakara gives the reason why the karma phala is called amritam. The reason is that as long as punya papa are there is the potential result which will be standing in the account of the jiva and will never get destroyed. In fact, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, the more you try to rectify your karmas, that is karma phalam, the more it accumulates. And as we all know, when a portion of sanchita karmas, the accumulated karmas fructify as prarabdha karmas, we are born. Then the consequences of the prarabdha karmas are presented to us as situations. And when we use our free will to respond to the situations, in the process, we engage in more karmas, both dharmic and adharmic, which will give rise to more karma phalas, more punya papas, which go on accumulating. Some of them we exhaust in this life. The balance will get added to the sanchita karmas and carried forward to the future. And therefore, even though individual karma phalam is exhausted by experiencing them, the Sanchita Karma bundle as a whole never gets exhausted. And this leads to what? Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. And this process continues endlessly. Unless, as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi advises, we find the root of karma and cut it off. What is the root of karma? The root of karma is the identity that aham karta, aham bhokta. You have to get out of that identification that you are a doer, that you are a karmi. You have to shred that identification, identify yourself as aham Satchidananda asmi, aham Brahmasmi. And Brahman is akarta, bhokta. So when you identify yourself with that consciousness, the supreme consciousness, and when you realize that you are not a karta, you are not a bhokta, all this karta, bhokta business is all identification because of your misconceiving your body, mind, sense complex to be yourself. Once you get out of that misconception by Brahma Jnanam or Atma Jnanam, then this entire karma bundle from its root, I should say uprooted, cut off. And therefore, till that happens, this karma phala, which refers to the Sanchita karma bundle, which is carried on forward eternally, literally rather, is called Amritam because of its being long lasting. It can last for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, 100 janmas also, or 100 kalpas also. Till the jiva comes to Jnana Yoga, gains that Jnana Yoga, and abides in that Jnana Yoga, till the jiva gets he either becomes Jivan Muktaha or he gets Krama Mukti. Till such time, this Sanchita Karma bundle will keep on growing. Growing, getting exhausted, again growing. So because of this reason, Karma Pala is called Amritam. Amritam means eternal, that which does not have Mrityu. And here it is said Yavat. Pashyakara says Yavat. Yavat means as long as. Karmani. Karmani here we can interpret it as Punya Papa. Kalpakoti Shataihi Apina Vinashyanti. As long as Karmani Punya Papa Navinashyanti are not destroyed, Kalpakoti Shataihi Api. Koti means crore. 1 crore is called Koti. Koti Shata means 100 crores or 1 billion. 1 billion of what? Kalpakoti Shataihi, 1 billion of kalpas. So by the passage of even 1 billion of kalpas, and we have seen earlier, 1 kalpa means 1 cycle of creation having 1000 Chatur Yuga. So you can calculate how much will be 1 billion kalpas. Tavat phalam na vinashyati. Tavat, so long. Yavat was there, so Tavat is here. They go together. So as long as the karmas, actions are there, as long as the result, the punya papas will not be destroyed. Potential result will not be destroyed. even over a period of 1 billion kalpas. And therefore it is called iti amritam. Iti here means therefore, amritam. And therefore this karma phala is called amritam, since it remains for a very long time. And it is very definite also. Nobody can escape experiencing the karma phala, the punya papa. Only one way to escape, which I have told time and again. And that's also not a very easy way. But still, that choice is available. So, this karma phala is called amritam. So, what it means is, amritam, not in the absolute sense of moksha, because moksha is also called amritam. Brahman is also called amritam. But amritatvam of Brahman, immortality of Brahman, is absolute, whereas here amritatvam is in a relative sense. There is a subhashitam which says, avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham nabhuktam kshiyate karma kalpakoti shatairapi. Avashyam anubhoktavyam. Avashyam means necessarily. Anubhoktavyam should be experienced. Kritam karma shubha shubham. Every karma done, whether it is shubha karma, right action, or ashubha karma, wrong action, adharmic action. So for every karma done, the resultant adrishta karma phala should be necessarily experienced and exhausted. Na abhuktam kshiyate karma. Abhuktam karma means the karma which is not exhausted. Na kshiyate is not destroyed. Kalpakoti shatairapi. Same idea which is there, but Bhashyakara says, I think whoever has written this Shubhashitam has borrowed from Bhashyakara's Bhashya. Kalpa koti shatairapi, even the passage of billions of kalpas, the cycles of creation, the unexhausted karmas will be standing in your account. The karma phala will remain. So the punya papa which will give rise to sukha dukkha will remain endlessly to be exhausted. No jivan can escape this. So if we are presented with pleasant situations, we must understand that it is our past punya which is giving the result. And similarly, when we are confronted with unpleasant situation, we must realize that we are exhausting some of our past karmas. So this is the general rule. Now I use the word general rule because there is one exception. As I said, what is that exception? If you get Atma Jnanam, then your karma account is destroyed, finished, deleted forever. Control all delete. Can't even recover it. At least in computers, you can recover it. Karma account, once Atma Jnanam is there, abidance in Atma Jnanam is there, no recovery possible. All your Sanchita gone. Your Agami will not come. Even Prarabdha also, from a Jnani standpoint, is not there. But if you don't get Jnanam, then Karma Phala will be waiting to catch you rather than catch. Why you catch everyone? And that is why Bhashyakara or the Upanishad calls it Amritam. So in this mantra, the order of creation was described as Abhyakrita, Annam, Prana, Manaha, Satyam, Lokaha. And afterwards, Karma and Karma Phala. So 8 steps are there. But here we should not think that this is the only way to describe the creation. We don't have a set procedure for describing the creation because the way it is described in this Upanishad, you may not find it in other Upanishad. Fortunately or unfortunately, by the time we come to the next Upanishad, most probably we would have forgotten this Upanishad. So no problem. The teachers also don't get into any problem trying to explain the different, different ways creation is or manifestation is described. And of course, the last word is all this talk about creation, description about creation, as I told, is mithya. So it doesn't matter. But by chance, suppose you have a fantastic memory. And after studying Upanishads, you feel like revising Mundaka Upanishad and refer to your notes. And then see Tapasa Chiyate Brahma. And you will be driven to compare the Srishti Prakriya given in some other Upanishad, and you may get a doubt. Therefore, as I said just now, we must always remember that Srishti Prakriya is not the teaching of the Upanishad. It is not the main message of the Upanishads. In giving this order of creation, Shruti does not have Tatparyam. Tatparyam means commitment to prescribe or describe the order of creation. The Tatparyam of Shruti is to tell that everything is Brahman. And later on to teach that you are that eternal Brahman, Tattvamasi. That is the Tatparyam of all the Upanishads. That we should never ever forget, rather. As they say, what is the saying? You should not miss the trees. I'm forgetting that this thing.
Trees for the woods.
Yeah, you should not miss the trees for the wood or something like that. Yeah. So that, what is the main intention of the Upanishad? That we must always keep in mind. All these are all, good entertaining stuff. But then these explanations are fraught with it could lead to a lot of confusions when we read different scriptures. Puranas, something else said, something is said. Bhagavad Gita, some explanation is given. Come to Upanishad, you may find still a different explanation. So we must not get lost in the details and focus only on the crux. That is the purpose of studying all these Upanishads. So now we will go to the next mantra. The last mantra of Pratama Mundaka Pratama Khandaha, which is 119. So in this last mantra of this section, as I said, Pratama Khanda, Pratama Mundaka, Shruti is concluding this topic, giving some details. Of course, what has been said, that alone is going to be repeated. But different words, different terminology. So Bhashyakara gives the Sangati, introducing the mantra. We will read the Sangati. Uktameva Artham Upasanjihirshuhu mantraha
mantraha
vaksyamanartham
vaksyamanartham
aha.
aha
So mantraha aha is a very beautiful way of saying. Because the moment you say aha, means somebody is telling. Our question here will be who is telling. So Bhashyakara says nobody, only the mantra itself is saying. Mantra tells. So for Bhashyakara, mantra is like a live entity. Mantra is not some words to be heard or written in some book. No. It is a live entity. That mantra has been given by the rishis. Bhashyakara sees the very rishis, embodiment of rishis in those mantras. That is the extent of his Shraddha. Such a beautiful concept, I tell you. We have to learn so much from Bhashyakara. When we read the Bhashyam itself, Bhashyakara's personality actually comes up. What was Bhashyakara? We have nobody, see, people may write pages and pages about the Bhashyakara's personality and all. But nobody has gone, or at least I have not come across, where the Bhashyakaras, these kind of subtle personalities are exhibited or written about. Only when we read the Bhashyam and all, we realize Bhashyakara's brilliance. How much committed he is to Vedas. Anyway, when talking about Bhashyakara, sometimes I tend to become a little emotional. I don't know. So what is this mantra telling? Uktameva artham upasanjihirshuhu. Another very fantastic word. Upasanjihirshuhu means desirous of concluding. In English, we use three words, desirous of concluding. Sanskrit, one word, upasanjihirshuhu. For those who have know a little bit of Sanskrit, derivation of upasanjihirshu is upasamharatam ichuhu. Upasamharam kartum ichuhu. Upasanjihirshuhu. Upasamhara means conclusion. So the mantra is desire of concluding. Concluding what? Uktameva artham. Desirous of concluding the very same subject matter which has already been told. Uktam means told. Eva, the very same. Artha, subject matter. So being desirous of concluding the very same subject matter which has been told, that means what? Whatever has been told till now, that is being concluded in the next mantra. Vaksyamanartham aha. Vaksyamanartham is future tense. So the meaning is what is going to be told. Therefore, the meaning of the sentence will be being desirous of concluding whatever has been told till now. The mantra is going to tell or will tell. Now, what is it that the Shruti is going to tell? Because Shruti has already introduced Paravidya in the previous mantra. So what has been said earlier is presented in different words with a few more details. So we will first read the mantra and then discuss. Okay. Yaha sarvang yaha
Yaha sarvajñah
sarva vidyasya
sarvavidyasya
sarvavidyasya
Jnanamayam tapaha.
Jnanamayam tapaha.
Tasmat etat brahma.
Tasmat etat brahma.
Nama rupamannam.
Nama rupamannam.
Jajayate.
Jajayate.
In fact, we should put the cha in the first correct way of the saying. Nama rupamannam cha jayate should be there, but it's okay. So first I'll give you the padacheda. Yaha sarvanyaha sarvaviduhu yasya jnanamayam tapaha tasmat etat brahmanama rupam annam cha jayate. Yaha sarvanyaha sarvaviduhu. This is referring to Ishvara. One who is omniscient and all-knowing. Omniscient means all-knowing. We have earlier seen the difference in the meaning of Sarvanya and Sarvavit. If you remember, it came in the Bhashyam. Yaha Sarvanya Sarvavit. Where Bhashyakara quoted this mantra, this 9th mantra, and said, Ityadi Chetanavattva Visheshanatva. So Bhashyakara referred to this mantra in the Bhashyam of the 6th mantra. There we saw that Sarvanya means one who knows everything in general, and Sarvavit means one who knows everything specifically. But generally, the words Sarvanya and Sarvavit can be used interchangeably because the derivation of Sarvanya is Sarvam Janati iti Sarvanya Nya Dhatu, which means to know. And Sarvam Veti iti Sarvavit, Vid Dhatu, which also means to know. So both the words have the meaning to know. So the meaning will be the same for both the words, one who knows everything. So now, when we take the pure Sanskrit meaning, there will be a question. Why should Shruti say it twice? Because any repetition in the Shruti is actually a defect. In Shruti, any repetition is considered to be a defect. Therefore, when both of them are used in the same place, then we have to give different meanings, or at least different shades of meanings. And this difference between meaning of Sarvanya and Sarvaved is given in two ways. Note, it is not two meanings, but two ways to reach the same meaning. One is which we have already considered, which we have already seen. Sarvanya means one who knows everything in general. That means one who knows that everything is Brahman. Sarvam samanyena brahmatvena janati iti sarvanya. Therefore, by studying the Upanishads properly, one can become sarvanya because one can understand that everything is Brahman. And Ishvara is sarvanya because Ishvara has this vidya, this paravidya. And therefore, Ishvara is sarvanya samanyena janati. And we saw that Sarvavit means one who knows everything specifically. That is everything in detail. Sarvam Visheshataya Janati. One who knows everything in detail is called Sarvavit. So here somebody can question, why not the other way around? Because other way around also will be okay. Where ultimately meaning is the same. It generally, specifically is we are adding it. You can add it either first or with the second. So we do not have any solid basis to say that Sarvanya should mean generally and Sarvavit should mean in detail, even though conventionally it is done. And then we don't want to change it. Because there is no reason to change it. It does not matter whether you understand it this way or that way. But suppose you say, no, 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 I will change it. Okay, go ahead and change it. No problem. Nobody can stop you. But then if you do change it, you will be going against the sampradaya. That's all. We are following certain sampradaya, so we stick to that. Eventually, the tatparyam or implication will not change. And the second way of arriving at the meaning is one who is knowing everything through samashti upadhi called maya is sarvanya. So one who knows everything samanyena through samashti upadhi maya is sarvanya. And the same Ishvara is there in the form of every jiva. And through this jiva's avidya upadhi, he knows everything individually. And therefore he is sarvavit. And therefore another way of interpreting is Ishvara is knowing everything specifically through Maya Upadhi is Sarvagya, and the individual Jiva is knowing everything specifically through his Avidya Upadhi is Sarvavit. But then, what is the conclusion? Sarvavit alone is Sarvagya, since Vyashti is not separate from Samashti. So basically, all these are word plays, Here, what is important is that Ishvara has got the knowledge of everything which is going to be created, and therefore Sarvagya. And in the context of the topic of creation, that alone is important. That he knows everything, both generally and specifically. Second approach is not given by Bhashyakara, but a commentator says, one of the Tikakara says that, and then it doesn't contradict with the overall vision of the Shastra. So there is no problem. But the Tikakara's job is that only. Even from what Bhashyakara has said, they will try to extend that meaning and give more possibilities. Which Bhashyakara, he might have also thought about it, but he must have thought it doesn't matter why I should go on prolonging this Bhashyam. Even otherwise, I am writing so much. God alone knows after 500, 600,000 years who is going to read all these things. So he might have been very frugal in the words that he uses. So Tikakaras are there. They will actually expand what Bhashyakara says. And in this context, Pujya Swamiji gives a special interpretation, which is very interesting. Swamiji says the word Sarvanya means indirect omniscience, which is acquired through Brahmajnana. I will explain. Indirect omniscience, figurative omniscience, which is attained through Brahmajnanam is Sarvajnatvam. Now you will ask, what do you mean by indirect or figurative omniscience? If you remember, in the beginning of this section, Shaunaka, the student, asked the question, Kasminnu vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. What is it that knowing which a person is as good as omniscient, isn't it? Even though Acharya Angiras is in the process of answering this question and will later conclude that by knowing Ekakaranam Brahma, He will say Brahma Vijnanena Sarvanyah Bhavati. One who has got Brahma Jnanam, he or she is omniscient. Why do you say Brahma Jnani is omniscient? We give the reason. Because everything is nothing but Brahman. Differences are only superficial, only Nama Rupa differences. Whether it is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, all of them are essentially Brahman. And therefore, by knowing Brahman, a person has known everything essentially. So thus every Jnani is called Sarvajnaha. But when we say Jnani is Sarvajna, omniscient, it only means that he knows the truth of everything. It does not mean that a Jnani literally knows everything. It does not mean that a Jnani knows the Chinese language, the French language, or even how to make a pizza. If you ask a Jnani how to make a pizza, he will not know the details. Then he will say, what kind of a Jnani you are? You don't know how to make a pizza. But he knows that pizza is only a name and form given to Brahman. He does not know everything. He knows the truth of everything. Thus, there is one Sarvanyatvam which comes through Paravidya. So every Jnani gains a figurative omniscience by Brahma Vidya or Paravidya. But that Sarvanyatvam is not the Sarvanyatvam of Ishvara. This is Aupacharika Sarvanyatvam. Paravidyaya Prapta Sarvanyatvam. And therefore, there is another omniscience. What is that? It is the knowledge of everything in detail. Not just the knowledge of the truth of everything, but the knowledge of everything in the literal sense of the term, knowing all languages. If two ants are talking, what are they talking? Like that, knowing details of creation, knowing the Anatma Prapancha completely, knowing Apara Vidya completely. And that Puja Swamiji says that you can attribute the word Sarva Vidvam to that. So Sarva Vidvatvam means omniscience in the literal sense of the term, which means knowing the Anatma completely. Therefore, Aparavidya Prapta Sarvajyatvam is called Sarva Vidvam. And this is not figurative Sarvajyatvam. It is literal, actual Sarvajyatvam, which is called Sarva Vidvam. Now, in the case of a wise person, he is Sarvajnata, but Sarvajnata is only in the figurative sense. Through Paravidya, he has become omniscient. He does not know, he knows that everything is Brahman, but does not know the Maya part of everything. So he has got Sarvajnatvam, but he doesn't have Sarva Vidvam. There is no human Jnani, no Jiva can ever become Sarvavid. He can only become Sarvajnaha in the figurative sense. Only saving grace is for liberation. You don't need Sarva Vidvam. You require only Sarvajnatva. And in fact, many people commit this mistake that when a Jnani is said to be Sarvajnaha, they think the Jnani should know everything. That is how in Adi Shankara's biography, they have inserted a story also. That how Mandana Mishra asked about family life that Adi Shankara did not know. Shankara was ignorant and therefore he had to leave his body and entered the body of a king. All these stories we have supplied because we think that Adi Shankara should know everything literally. He did not know those details, but still he can be Sarvagnya because a Jnani, as a Jnani, he knew the truth of everything. But when you talk about Ishvara, the creator, question is he Sarvagnya or Sarvavid or both? That question we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Dhanyawadaha everyone. Thank you very much.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. Thank you, sir. Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
Guruji.
much. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
How do we relate this Dashavataram, although you have said different interpretations of the creation? Dashavataram also is somewhere it said it is a process of evolution. Although Purusha Suktam says exactly what Bhashyakara has just now said in the Upanishad. How do we relate these two?
As I said, creation or call it, we don't, creation is a loose word, but still we'll use it. Different, Puranas, different ways described, different Upanishads, different ways it is described. So Dashavataram, we have to take it as one of the ways it has been described.
Okay.
Because again, Dashavataram is more a linear kind of a creation. It is not a cyclical, right? And it ends in Kalki Avatara, supposed to be in Kali Yuga, correct? But then, what the Purana, of course, also probably, I have not read that, Bhagavata Purana says, after this Kali Yuga, there will be Pralayam and then there will be again another creation and again the Dashavatara will take place, right? So that is how we have to understand that various ways you can actually describe the creation. Right? But from a Upanishad point of view, what we have to keep in mind is all these are very fine. I mean, we are not denying because they are all part of Maya, which is the material with which the creation is made. But for our purpose, what is our goal? Our goal is moksha. Our goal is not entertainment when we study the Upanishad. Different stories may be there, okay. Because if I go on telling you Brahmasmi, 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 maximum one class it will last. From next class, nobody will come and nobody will care to inform also. So, Upanishad knows this. Bhashyakara knows this. Everybody knows. Shastras are called Mata. They are like mother. Mother knows in and out of the child. So they make it, more and more entertaining. In fact, if you look at it, Upanishads are concentrated and very less entertainment. Then, of course, Bhagavad Gita comes. All same author only. Only Vedavyasa has done all these things. Bhagavad Gita diluted the Upanishads to some extent, put in some entertaining aspects. Arjuna asking this question, that question, etc. And some details also of evolution, everything of this creation he gives. Then comes Puranas. Puranas are by and large entertaining stories. Oh, this Asura, this Deva, this fight, going to Brahmaji, going to Vishnu, going to Shiva, praying. Then the gods are appearing and they are giving varam, all boons. All that, full entertainment in every Purana. If you study the Purana completely and very carefully, there is Brahma Jnanam portion.
Yeah.
You will find it every Purana, but what happens is, those people who are actually giving, this pravachanam on Puranas and all, they actually, sort of pass through that very quickly. They don't explain all those things.
Mm.
Because they also know, when 100 people are sitting and listening to the Purana story, what entertains they know. If you talk about all Brahma Jnanam and all, they know that people will run away. And that is why they are more interested in all these things. So they cater to the public, not the gallery, as they say.
They know
are also
they know the target audience.
They know the target audience, and that what they want, they give.
Okay.
But for us, it is an advantage. We know both. We know that also, we know this also. And that also we are not rejecting it. We are not saying, oh, that is all false. No. We are only saying that when we come across those descriptions, we enjoy them like watching a magic show. All these appearances are there, wonderful. This fellow cutting a lady into two, separating the parts. Nothing happens to the lady. Then he brings them together, and the lady gets up and walks away. Oh my God, what a beautiful thing. Huh? How has he done? That is our Vismayam, that is our Ascharya, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that is how we see all these things. Dashavataram and other descriptions, all these, go to Skanda Purana, beautiful descriptions of how Muruga fought all those Asuras and things like that and all. Devi Mahatmyam, another wonderful description of Devi, how she is fought, and reinstated Dharma, etc. So, we know, we can know everything, but we must not lose the sight of the main thing. That is what is our approach to scriptures is.
Okay.
All-inclusive approach. But don't try to extend your understanding to say, oh, that is real or this is real. There is only one reality, which is Brahman, which pervades everything, which is the cause of everything. That we must never forget. After that, once that is settled in the mind, you can do whatever you want. You want to read Bhagavata Purana, study Bhagavata Purana. Ramayanam you read full. No problem. You don't say, oh, I have come to Upanishad stage. I will not read Sundaragandam. I will not go to Itihasa. Nothing like that. You can be a PhD student. Sit in a nursery class and enjoy the nursery rhymes. No harm. That is the beauty of our scriptures. That is the beauty of our culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Thank you. So the ultimate goal is Brahman. So
Ultimate goal we must never forget.
So,
As you see, what happens, let us say in a football match, what is the goal of every team? To score the goal. Is it easy to score the goal? No. What is entertaining the football match? Not the just scoring the goal, but the play, how the people pass here, there, how attack they do. It is the entertaining part, 1.5 hours they do. Eventually, they may not score the goal also. That is a different story. But what people be thousands of rupees, they pay money and buy tickets, go and sit there. Whenever there is this World Cup football match or whatever, we all sit glued to the TV. Midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock and all, because it is played somewhere in Europe or whatever it is. I have done it. Why? Because of entertainment. Human being needs entertainment. Without entertainment, a human life will be miserable. Already it is miserable. With all the entertainment, it will become more miserable. So, Vedavyasa Rishi has provided enough entertainment material. And in fact, if you study the Puranas and you study all the storylines of all the serial and all, many of them, ideas are picked up from those Puranas only. We even had Mahabharata and Ramayana as a full-time serial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time it was running. So that is the source. Our scriptures are the source for all entertainment. That is what it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Sita Ramanji.
Yeah, I have a small, this shloka, that the bhashyam that is there, the ones which are reflected in blue are the main crux of the thing.
Yes.
For
The
example, in
shloka
the
which is in the Bhashyam, the blue is what is the Moolam.
Moolam, that's what I said, the crux
Yeah,
of the
and
matter.
the one which is in the what color is called magenta or pink. You ask the
Yeah.
ladies, they will say magenta. We men will call it pink or whatever it is. That is in the Bhashya.
Bhashyam. So the description of the 8 portions, tapasa, brahmachiyate, annam, abhijayate, agyat, annat pranaha. So that becomes 8 descriptions. The
8 words from the Moolam.
yes, so that becomes the 8 moolam, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. So anything in blue is Moolam.
Okay.
So what Bhashikara does is he takes a word from the Moolam, which we have actually, whoever has done this typing of this Bhashyam, he has, in order for the students to easily identify, he has put them in blue color.
Yeah.
And the Bhashyam in another color, so that you know this is the word Bhashikara is explaining. Like
so for novices like us, it is the karma sucha. That means this is explained subsequently. So that is the thing. It becomes easier.
Easier. Becomes easier. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you.
becomes easy for me also to teach. Okay. Right. Any other question? Nothing. So
no questions, Guruji. Thank you very much. I had 1 or 2 questions, but then what you said at the end, that made more sense, like trying to know the nuances of the creation. More important, that is to keep your mind on the goal, and so not to go too much into the details, but because not in the Shruti aims at that. Even the Shruti is aiming at giving the message of knowing the Brahman and not the individual steps of creation. Broadly, yes, I have understood. There's no doubt about that. You have explained very well. But I had some questions which are kind of more academic rather than enlightening.
there is one more reason for that. Where if you ask about Brahman, I can easily explain. If you ask about the other subjects, I have not studied so much, all Puranas. If you ask something from there, in order to save myself, also this is a good way to deal with this subject. Because I can't answer all the questions. You are
No.
It's not that, people, the students who are in the class are, but they are brilliant fellows, brilliant people. They have actually studied, so many other things also, which I might not have studied. So if they ask some question from there, or many of them, I've seen some of them at least, attend other classes. And then from what they gain there, they'll come and ask a question in this class. And then it becomes difficult for me. Suppose some other Acharya has said something, and I say something which is contradictory, then that will confuse the student more rather. And therefore, details can have contradictions, no problem.
Yeah.
The main message should not be contradictory. That's all.
Exactly. Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay.
Hari Om.
Thank you all. See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.